Hi, shout out to Robert Merriman there. I was discussing the Propagate joint tool, and I'm doing this project, just started it yesterday, and I'm going to try and use the tool, which I'm kind of obsessed with adding joints singularly, which is a bit silly really. So I'm going to have a whack at this. So he's telling me that it'll only it only works on whatever is visible. So let's use this tool here and just turn on selected items, and let's test it out. So if you don't see a joint box, just click on somewhere on your joint and do joint properties, and the box will then you will then be able to see the box once your layer connection boxes is turned on. So I'm gonna copy this, so we're gonna pick the box and let's do propagate joint. So as we can see, it has propagated the joint. Now I can see one problem straight away. So it's propagated these joints as well, but if you can see, there's a co-op here on the top, so it's propagated this joint back to this beam, but I want this back to the column. So that's going to be a slight problem. So what you can do is you can apply the connections here first if you want, and then that should work. So let's just see if I back up a little bit. Alright, so what we can do is let's cut this back. So this is just to run the test. So let's cut this beam back to that. And let's do the same on this other side. So cut this beam back to the face. So now the beams aren't running in there. So let's see if this one will propagate also, because maybe it'll join this back to the column. I'm not sure. So select the box, right click, propagate joints. As we can see down here, it has propagated this, and it still has propagated back to these beams. So for now, what I'll do is, I don't want these cuts here, so let's delete this. Select this one, change the visibility, and delete that feature also. So what I'll do is, let's turn everything back on. Let's click on this model view, and let's come in here. Let's check this joint first. So double click on the box. We can see I want to cut back 3/4 of an inch. That's fine. 3/4 of an inch the other side. All the copes 3/4, 3/4, 3/4. All the radius is 1/2 inch. That's good. So that's what we want. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select this, and I'm going to right click, propagate joints, and it's going to run through the whole model and just check. Well, I guess it runs through what's visible, and it checks to see where it can apply these connections. So let's see what happens. I guess it's going to apply them here. So what I'm going to do for now, this is my first time really using this. So what I'm going to do is, let's go to the top view, and let's see it's put a connection here. I don't want that connection. So let's delete that one. So let's just go back into a 3D view. It's easier to see them. Let's delete this one. Let's delete this one. See, these ones in the center have two joints because it's propagated this one back to this one and this one back to this one. So you just need to be careful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete all these. So on the outside there's one connection extra. So obviously there's ways to work around this. It's not perfect tool, it doesn't seem to be, but it's still easier to delete these than to add them all. So you can see I'm deleting two connections here, 1, 2, and same here, 1, 2, and that's good, and 1 over here because there's only one beam making it into the column. and one here. So, you know, obviously different instances will work better. Maybe I shouldn't have cut the beam back. I'll run a test in a minute. Maybe instead of cutting the beam back, I should have dragged the beam back, because then the beam wouldn't show as being in front of that. What I'll do now is let's select this one, and let's just copy the basic copy to the column. This beam. Okay, so we have no joint box, so let's click on it. Advanced joint properties, and you can see the box appears. This is my box. Just double check it. Double-sided clip angle, yes, just in case you picked the shear tab by accident. So what I'm going to do now is the copes. This doesn't matter. This is not going to change because it's going into a column. So I can just change this to 1 inch. And now this joint's going to be different to this other joint. So if I click on any of these, you can see that advanced joint property, these are part of a group. So it propagates them as part of a, I guess, father-son, mother-daughter relationship, whatever they call it. It's not called a master-slave anymore. It's not correct to say that. So what we'll do is we'll select this one, and now let's see what happens when we go to propagate this one. Sorry, we have to collect, I believe we have to select the box, right? Yeah, so you have to select the box, propagate joints, and I zoomed in too far because now we can't see what's going on. And let's go back out, and we can see that we have a joint here, and it is the same as that other one, and it is connected to the column because we can see it's not coped back. So that's good. So now we have all those joints in. Similarly, we can do the same thing here. We can just go to our connection vault, clip angle, select here, select here. I like to do these every time so I can check them every time. So I don't know why this is slowed down, that's unusual. So the clip angle is 4x4. The cut back I want to have the same as the other one, so 0.75. The weld, no welds, and main flange, 0.75. K distance inside secondary. I'm a little obsessive, so I spend a minute or two to do these every time rather than saving them. I'm not sure why, just peace of mind for me, so I know that I've done it right. 0.75. Alright. And they're not all the same. Some companies want them differently. So there you go. So that's good there. So it should propagate over here and over here. So let me just see if I drag this back. If I drag this back over here. Now be careful dragging these around. I generally will use the tool over here and drag it in the X direction over to here. So let's just see, it'll be interesting to see if this propagates these joints over here. So let's go in the X direction again. And let's go in the X direction again. And we'll do these 4 over here and we'll see what happens. I guess I could have just did one of them, but save some time. Alright, so now click on the box. Propagate joint. And let's see if one comes in over here. Hopefully not. If it does come in, hopefully it's connected to the column. So it's taking a second, it's checking everything. Alright, so it did come in over here, and it is not connected to the column. It is connected to the beam, because you can see by the cope. So let's delete this one. So look, it's up to you if you want to use it or not, but it would seem that you will need to delete some, which is okay. I needed to delete 2 there again because there's 2 beams making it into the column. So let's delete these. Now, at the same time, I guess this video is almost 10 minutes long. So, I mean, you've basically done that floor in 10 minutes. So you can put all the joints in probably in the building in half hour, right? So can't really complain with that. Sometimes when you're adding these with these commands here. They separate some of them, but I don't know if it's user error, I guess. But so we'll do the same thing here now. We can see what I can do now is do the same thing. I'll just do this, and I will copy that over with the regular copy, and I'll go column, beam, and there's the one joint. As you can see, I have the wrong bolts in here. So what I can do is, let's double click here, and the bolt parameters, I want them as TC bolts, and these will change along with all the rest of them, which is good. So just give it a second. You can see that's changed, this has changed. So all those ones that I've just done have changed to TC bolts. It's just taking a second to work its magic, I guess. And there you go. So that's done. And now advanced joint properties. When you copy it, you won't have a box, so you need to open it that way. Bolt parameters, TC bolts, okay. Go back here, select that joint, and let's see. Propagate joint, it should come in on these columns. There you go. So now we have the floor done. Now, obviously we don't have everything done. I need to copy these moment connections around, and these are going to be slightly different because I'm going to have to create a custom joint and copy that around, but that should be fine. I hope this helps anyone that's planning to use it. Alright, take care.